Good evening. Hi. So, as part of celebrating the wonderful World Menopause Month, I am delighted to be interviewing Dr. Johanna Ward. She works for the Cosmetic Skin Clinic. She has been a cosmetic doctor for over 15 years. What she doesn't know about skin isn't worth knowing, basically. And we're going to be talking about looking after, caring for your skin, 35, 40, 50s plus, because it changes, and that's okay, because change is good. And as you know, I like to keep these short and sweet. I've got a macaroni cheese in the oven. I have a small person who needs feeding. You have to go live your lives. So I'm hoping to get as much information from her as possible in a timely fashion. So I'm just waiting for her to join. We're going to be focusing on collagen this evening. So I've heard lots about collagen in the last couple of years. I think before that, it felt a little bit like collagen supplements, collagen treatments weren't widely thought of as highly effective. But I mean, I'm obviously going to ask the professional. It seems to have changed, and people are now talking about it as though it's something that's worth investing in. It's something worth talking about. Treatments are much more advanced. Let's see if she's joined. No, someone else has asked to join. I'm not letting them in. Absolutely not. So we're going to be talking about collagen and how it declines, how it loses its potency as you grow older, and then how your hormones affect collagen. So perimenopause, menopause. And again, for those who don't know, I'm sure you do, I'm sorry, I'm always banging on about it. Aren't we lucky to be living in an age where people like Davina and Mariella Frostrup are talking about it openly? I think 5 years ago, I wonder how many women were experiencing changes in a sense of self, brain fog, all of those things which can be dealt with, and women can thrive in their 30s, 40s and 50s, given the right education and information about their hormones changing. I mean, it makes sense. We are essentially our hormones, estrogen, progesterone and testosterone. So if they change, we're going to change. Don't you think it's bonkers how that's... I'm waiting for them to request. But also, I love talking about this. Isn't it bonkers how 3 years ago, it wasn't a communal conversation. It wasn't a national conversation. And how many women have left the workforce, separated from husbands, or felt unhappy, or been on antidepressants, or not had a lovely sex life, or all of those things because of symptoms of perimenopause and menopause that can be easily fixed for the most part. Lifestyle changes, conversations with your professional, they can all be changed, alleviated, whether it's, for me it's been lifestyle changes, and here they are, and supplements. But if they stop working, I will go to my GP and I will get HRT. Yes, I will. Okay. Give it a minute to kick in. Here we go. I'm being tortured by the smell of my mac and cheese downstairs. Good evening, Doctor. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Sorry for the delay.
No problem at all. I'm never short of something to say, don't you worry. Now, I'm really excited to talk to you because this is a subject that there's a kind of grey area when it comes to how to look after our skin in 40s and 50s and late 30s and 60s. Let's broaden it out.
Yep.
And the kind of... collagen used to be relatively controversial because people have been making supplements and drinks and all sorts for a long time. However, I think, as far as I'm aware, it's changed quite a lot recently. It's worth talking about. It's worth investing in. What I want to ask you first, to paint the picture, to get the context, is if there's a way to do it broadly, how does our skin change from, say, 35 onwards?
Yeah, good question. It changes in lots of different ways, actually. The change is slow and gradual, and so we don't really notice it, but you notice it per decade in photos, and we notice it in the mirror. Suddenly, people are like, oh gosh, I see change. So in our 30s, we often only get the first lot of lines. We may see changes in the skin in very delicate areas like around the eye, because the skin is thinner in these areas. So it's one of the first areas to show visible signs of aging and change. And because it's thin, it undergoes accelerated aging. So then other people in their 30s may see just a few hints of lines, maybe a little bit of volume loss, but in our 30s, most of us have quite good amounts of collagen. We've only started to lose a little bit, good amounts of elastin and hyaluronic acid. As the decades progress, we know that, for example, we lose collagen at about 1% per year, and we're just in net loss from our kind of late 20s, 30s onwards. The same with elastin, the same with hyaluronic acid. So things are declining year on year. We also get changes in the volume, so the fat pads in our face, they change. We lose volume in the fat pads. A lot of people don't realize that we're actually getting skeletal changes over the
Oh,
decades
really?
too. So our skeleton changes, yeah.
Why not add that to the party?
I know, there's a lot going on. And so over the years, all of these things gradually accumulate. Yeah. Once women particularly hit the kind of perimenopause, menopause, we go through quite a rapid and accelerated collagen loss. And often in clinic, I see people come in and say, you know, it almost happened overnight. I just look in the mirror and I see someone different. It's not who I feel like on the inside, because of course on the inside we feel like we're young forever.
Yeah, we are.
It can be really hard to understand like what's looking at you in the mirror and what's happened. And of course then in menopause we have a lot of hormonal change, so we can have fluctuations, but obviously the overall picture again is of gradual decline, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. That brings, for some women, things like adult acne. Yeah. Suddenly, when you're slightly out of kilter, you have a little too many androgens, you can get, you know, acne again, particularly in this area. Some women will then, and men, will have pigmentation because of years and years spent already by then in the sunshine. So the skin is a dynamic living organ and it changes a lot.
And of course, let's preface this with the joy and privilege of getting older. Of course, this is not in any way for anyone watching. This is not a, oh, well, you know, it's all downhill from here. Listen, we're so lucky to even be here to have this conversation, and wrinkles, changes in skin tone, textures. But I believe that you can both preserve, care for, and seek out what's available, and also be balanced and have perspective about signs of aging. So I think those two can live side by side. I think you can both have treatments and eat right and exercise and sleep good and cover your skin and all the yumminess, and also accept, love the aging process. You know, those two things can happen side by side. So I just want to preface this with that. Can you tell me, Dr. Ward, what exactly is collagen and why does it decline? Is that what's going on chemically with our hormones? Are the hormones to be blamed, or are they part of the decline in collagen?
Well, we're actually aging from the moment we're born. There's changing almost from the minute we're born, and everything is undergoing change. There's environmental change, so not all of it is to do with hormones at all. You know, collagen is the main structural protein in our body. So collagen takes its name from the Greek kollo, which means glue. So it's kind of like the glue that sticks us together. So I always kind of
everyone
say
loves the fact.
Yeah,
that's the fact of the night. Thank you. That's a great fact.
You're welcome.
Okay. So collagen's the glue that kind of holds us together.
Yeah, and it's so important for your hair, your skin, your nails, your joints, your bones, and your vessels. People don't appreciate how systemic it is, literally head to toe. Right. Collagen is important. Right. So it's good that we're talking about collagen, because we didn't really understand enough about collagen even 10 years ago. So gram for gram, collagen is stronger than steel. So it's important. We would be just a clump of cells without it. So collagen is important. It is. Yeah.
You're blowing my mind tonight. You know, I love a science fact. That's
Yeah.
another great science fact.
Yeah.
So,
it plays a very important structural role.
That's awesome. That's so interesting. I understand. It's almost like the scaffolding.
Absolutely. It is the scaffolding.
Okay. So it's the scaffolding. How do you know, when we go through perimenopause and menopause, our three main hormones change: estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. How does that affect collagen? Is that what's going on, or is it something else?
Well, collagen starts to decline from our early 20s onwards. So that's not to do with perimenopause. It happens anyway. It's something that happens to everybody. It's a universal. But it does speed up in the perimenopause and menopause journey for women. And the reason is collagen and estrogen are really good friends. And when you have abundant estrogen in your system, you have signals going to collagen to say, we're young, let's behave like a young skin, let's keep the factory open, let's keep producing. When estrogen gradually falls off, collagen loses its friend. Now, it was in decline anyway, but we think in the menopause years, we experience up to another 30% of collagen decline. So given that it's so important structurally as a protein in our body, that's actually quite significant. So by then we can have lost maybe 50% of our collagen. Right. You're going to feel that in stiff joints. Yeah. You're going to maybe not notice it yet in broken bones, but your bones will be becoming less dense. You're going to notice changes in your skin, sagging that wasn't there before, maybe thinning of the hair, weaker nails. So although collagen deficiency is not going to kill you, it's going to have a long-term impact on your quality of life, your health span, you know, how well you live your years, because there's no point us, you know, getting to a grand old age, but being so crippled in a wheelchair because our joints have gone. So right. I think it is self-care, but it's more than that. It's about looking after our health.
Yeah. I heard a podcast recently, and there was some medical experts, and they were talking about the difference between lifespan and health span. And you know, you can live till X amount of years, but which are the healthy years? Health span is more what we're going for. I totally understand it.
Yeah.
Dr. Ward, how can we preserve collagen through lifestyle, exercise, sleep, the choices we make, and the foods we eat? Before we go on to treatments, can we talk about what everyone can do to look after themselves to promote healthy collagen life? Yeah.
So first of all, we need to protect what we have. And secondly, we'll talk about, like, can we supplement it? Can we be making choices that add to what we have so we're not in net loss? So the first thing is, in terms of your skin, you can protect it because we lose collagen in our skin from ultraviolet radiation. That is one of the biggest and most dramatic damages of the skin. So wearing sun protection every day would definitely help your collagen.
Quick question on that. So from the expert, let's say that we're wearing factor 50 in the morning.
Yes.
Let's say I get up at 6, I might put it on at 6:30. How long does that last? When should I reapply it if I'm doing the factor 50 thing under makeup, over makeup?
Okay, so factor 50, so SPF 50 actually is, the 50 is a rating for UVB, not UVA. So you want an SPF that has both UVA and UVB because both of these rays damage the skin. The 50 is just a multiplication factor. So, for example, me, I would burn in the midday sun probably within 10 minutes. I'm skin type 2, I will burn, maybe you will too. So the 50, it gives us 50 times 10, so 500 minutes of protection.
So it's
after that
time. So it's a marker of time.
Yeah, it's your burn time. So if you're wearing an SPF 30 and your burn time is 10 minutes, that would give you 300 minutes of protection. So if you break that down into hours, you know,
okay,
it's a couple of hours. By after lunch, it will be gone. So that's why we always say reapply.
so if I apply my makeup at 7 a.m. in the morning, I should be definitely doing it again at noon, 1 o'clock.
Ideally, yeah, that's been one of the biggest difficulties, is how to educate people to reapply, but also how to create commercial products that are easy to reapply when you may have you know, makeup on, and you know, what do? You take it all off and then put your sun protection on and then reapply. Some people are using spritzers, but to be honest, most of those fly all over the place and don't land on your face in any significant quantity to give you that enough. Don't forget, you've got to have kind of 2 big fingerfuls for the face and neck. So a quick spritz isn't going to work. So this has been the problem, you know, how do we really guard collagen?
I feel like I want to have you on again to talk specifically about SPF and like proper application, because I do know that is the big one. If you want to look after your skin and keep it protected, that's the big one. Okay, but in terms of lifestyle.
So lifestyle.
Okay, SPF, 100%. I'm so on that bandwagon.
Retinol. So retinoids are vitamin A molecules. Most people have heard of them now. You get them readily on the high street as well. But they are an ingredient in skincare that are specifically designed to try to create dialogue with your fibroblast cell. Now, the fibroblast cell is really important. This is your collagen factory, fibroblasts. So this is where the hub of activity goes on with your collagen production. So the fibroblast is your collagen producing cell. Retinoids, applied topically on the skin, they work to stimulate repair of your skin, and they upregulate your collagen production. Then you need vitamin C, because vitamin C is a cofactor for collagen. You actually can't make collagen without vitamin C, and humans, somewhere along the evolutionary pathway, lost their ability to self-manufacture vitamin C. So some animals can do it, yes, we can't. So that's why we have to take it every day in our diet. So you get scurvy very quickly, probably within 60 days, if you become vitamin C deficient, because that's a collagen deficiency as well as a vitamin C deficiency. So they're the things that you can be using topically. And then, of course, you said diet and lifestyle. So eating well. Eating, I would say, a bit like Michael Pollan. I don't know if you know him. He's a writer about kind of health and diet, but he basically says, eat mainly plant-based, don't eat too much, and eat the rainbow. It's that kind of thing. So the reasoning for that is that plant-centered food, I'm not saying you have to be vegan or vegetarian, but that kind of, you know, fruit, veg, nuts, seed, that kind of Mediterranean diet is very healthful for continuing lots of different if
you had to if you had to put your flag in the ground of maybe 3 collagen you might not be able to, by the way, I'm just wanging around. If you 3 collagen happy foods to include in your diet, what would they be?
Well, I would definitely put vitamin C, so leafy greens, fruit and veg. Bone broth. Now this is the problem, and this is why we experience some collagen decline, because our ancestors, hunter-gatherers, the people that we came from, ate very differently to how we in the modern Western world, we fast food, kind of ultra-processed food, gas station food, and we no longer eat things like bone broth or, you know, the skins of fish and chicken. These are the collagen-rich foods.
Right.
So in our diet, we're not getting rich source of collagen, and that's a problem. And collagen, by definition, comes from animals. It's not vegan or vegetarian. It's an animal collagen. It's a protein from animals. So because we don't eat bone broth, because people don't kind of use all of the leftovers of Sunday roast, mash it all up, stick it in the fridge and use it the next day, we're losing a lot of that amino acid rich food that our ancestors would have had. Now you can make a bit yourself. You can make glycine, one of the amino acids in collagen, at about 3 grams a day. but we need about 10 to 15 grams a day to not be in a deficient state. So there is a big problem with dietary intake of foods that give us the amino acids to make collagen. And by the way, it's different to protein and what the body can make. So we're in a deficit anyway because of our modern Western diet. And the thinking is that a lot of us will go through things like arthritis, and even animals over 40 kilos have arthritis often because of this collagen intake problem. So that's where supplements help.
Well, I mean, wow, you bridged that so beautifully. So if it's difficult in our modern diet to get that collagen, are supplements, am I right in thinking that there's collagen supplements, collagen pills, collagen sachets used to not be very good, and they become something to talk about recently?
Yeah, totally.
Why is that?
So collagen is a large molecule. You can't put it on your skin topically. It does very little other than just hydrate. If you take it in an oral hydrolyzed form, it can go through your blood around your body and distribute to areas that may need it. So yes, there's been a massive improvement in what offering there is commercially on the market. I first started formulating collagen probably about 2017, and we were using really low doses. We had a tablet, I remember, that was a 2,000 milligram, and we loved it. It was beautiful. It had vitamin C in it. You know, it was the perfect product for women, we thought. But actually, the studies have come out subsequently showing we need much higher doses. So collagen, there was a very big study in 2021, and obviously being a doctor, I have to be evidence-based. I won't recommend anything unless it's evidence-based. But there was a large study that was published in the International Journal of Dermatology 2021. It took 19 randomized controlled trials, so that's gold standard of medical evidence. It was a systematic review, double-blinded, so that meant some people were on a placebo, so some people were taking a dummy supplement, others were on collagen, and they took it for 90 days. It was a large study, over 1,000 people involved, and it showed positive skin health benefits, so improved hydration, elasticity, and reduced wrinkles in the skin. After that big study, everything changed. Right. Collagen powders came out, liquids came out, everybody upped their game. We all knew now that we needed a dose between 8,000 to 12,000 milligrams a day, and it completely makes sense. So then people started, yes?
I'm so sorry, it's so fascinating. I'm so sorry to interrupt. What's the difference between a powder and a liquid? Are they the same efficacy?
There is some, so people argue about this all the time. Which one's better, marine or bovine? Subtle difference. Marine is more expensive. It's cleaner than bovine, perhaps. Powder or liquid? Well, powders you make into a liquid. You know, you add water and it dissolves and it becomes a liquid. So we're not entirely sure, and the studies don't specify that. So I couldn't tell you either way. But what we do know is that both powders and liquids give you high strength, because tablets, you can get in a capsule about 1,000 milligrams. So you're going to have to take about 10 tablets a day. Nobody has time for that. That's too hard. So really, no one. Convenience thing, you know, take a quick shot.
What's the dosage that you want to be ingesting every day?
You probably want at least 10,000 milligrams, between 10 and 12,000. And so funnily enough, I just recorded this afternoon a TikTok video comparing all the commercial collagens on the market, going through them. A lot are actually about 7,000 or 5,000 milligrams. So they're a little bit too low. Maybe they need to reformulate a bit, because 10 is probably the current golden dose.
If people want to see that, where do they find you on TikTok?
Oh, I'm at Dr. Jo Ward, DRJO Ward on TikTok. I do lots of that kind of stuff, reviewing skincare and breaking down ingredients.
Yeah, now, we've only got 5 more minutes, so I'm just going to summarize the lifestyle. So SPF, retinoids, vitamin C, like eating the rainbow, which is delicious, but also and good for everything. Exercise. But if you know, right, exercise. Let's spend the last 5 minutes talking about right, you're doing all of that, you're seeing a decline, which is fine, but you know, you might want to go and get a treatment. You might want to like give it a bit of a rocket boost.
Yeah.
What is worth spending money on? What are the collagen treatments that people should invest in today? Because I know they change all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so let's run through some of the treatments that people might come for. Botox is nothing to do with stimulating collagen, relaxes muscles. It's got its place. Fillers replace volume. Do you remember I said we lose fats, we get saggy and volume. So fillers are great for that. Then there are things like skin boosters. So your audience probably has heard of things like Profilo, polynucleotides.
Yeah, they do, because I love Profilo.
Yeah.
Or as we like to call it, profiteroles.
Profiteroles.
Profilo is fabulous. Okay, so those, but again, those are not necessarily, it's Profilo collagen boosting.
Yes, it is. So the real wow from Profilo. So people will often say, oh, Profilo is too subtle, I don't see enough. It gives you hydration, but in the long run, it creates dialogue with that very important fibroblast cell. So it's not a one-off treatment. That's why you really need to commit to doing it long term. It's amazing in the long term because it's a biostimulator of collagen. It talks to your collagen and makes your skin behave like a young skin. So yes, Profilo, polynucleotides, those kinds of things. Big wow if you continue them. And they will serve you well.
Huge fan of Profilo / profiteroles. What about laser treatment?
Yes.
Because Profilo, just for, if anyone doesn't know, Profilo, and Dr. Ward, please correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I've had it enough times, I should know. Profilo is tiny little jabs, injections of hyaluronic acid in your skin. I don't think it hurts that badly at all, and you're out within minutes and you can go about your day. It's fabulous. And then 5 days later you wake up and you're like, pow! Yeah, my skin, your skin looks amazing, and it's great. It's like the best moisturizer you've ever used in your life.
Yes, and that's just the short term. The long term is the collagen.
Great. Yes. Oh my God, it's like
flicking that switch, turning the collagen factory on. It's good.
Okay, fabulous. So that's Profilo. Tell me.
Laser, yes. Morpheus 8, radio frequency, or therapy. There are lots and lots of different treatments available on the market. Almost all of these will take you on a collagen journey. So we know that if we create a little bit of trauma, be that heat, needling, the effects of laser in the skin does something really interesting. In response to that trauma, it makes new collagen, but it takes a while. It takes 6 to 12 weeks. So these aren't like run in, get it done, come out, and you see it the next day. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's for the long term, but they do work on that collagen renewal process.
Absolutely. So I've had old therapy, and again, afterwards I was a bit like, oh, well, it didn't really work. And then I think honestly it was about 3 months later, Joe, that I looked in the mirror, I was like, oh God, I definitely noticed a real difference. But I always felt like I looked like myself.
Yeah. With all of these, just skin regeneration.
Yeah, I didn't feel like my face changed. I just felt like I looked like I'd slept really well, which is really lovely. Yeah. Okay, so if you could pick 3, people were spending their hard-earned money and it was, a difficult choice. What 3 treatments would you spend your money on?
I would definitely do Morpheus 8. Yeah. It's pretty full on, but it delivers. It's 2 treatments in one. So I do Morpheus 8. I would definitely do Profilo or something similar. Yeah. And the newer exciting ones are polynucleotides. So these are non-hyaluronic acid, but they work, and they work on a number of ways, but they're injected into the skin and they're waking the skin up, but they're also waking not just collagen, but stem cells. And I think they're possibly going to be a very exciting kind of watch this space, new treatment, but for the future.
Is that like the next horizon?
Yeah, possibly. I think polynucleotides are going to be very exciting. A bit like Profilo was 6 years ago when it came on the scene, or whenever it did. It's been a while now.
I mean, the sweet cupboard keeps getting fuller and fuller. That's so exciting. Okay, so Morpheus 8, Profilo or something similar. old therapy I'm a big fan of, and then the new treatments that are coming out all the time. I feel like you and I need to do this again in 6 months when there's all of those are out and there's even a bigger menu.
Yeah.
So is this correct? In short, collagen, looking after your skin, giving your skin love.
Yes.
A, be grateful always for another day, and
Yeah.
for wrinkles are beautiful, age is beautiful, we're so privileged and lucky. However, if you want to look after your skin, eat the rainbow, sleep, exercise, SPF all day long, and retinoids, vitamin C,
collagen supplements, 10,000 milligrams.
Right? And then if you want Morpheus, Profilo, or therapy, those are the magic gatekeepers to collagen.
And then, of course, HRT if people are struggling, if appropriate.
Totally.
Because that will help into.
Absolutely. And because it's World Menopause Month, it's important to mention. And then we must go because my mac and cheese will wait for no one, right? And it's a good one. It's a proper one. It's proper homemade. For World Menopause Month, don't be sent away. For anyone watching, if you're struggling with menopause symptoms, I think there's something now like 45 symptoms that have been recorded. If you are not feeling yourself, if you're between 35 and 50 and beyond, if you're not feeling yourself, if you're feeling anxious, if you are feeling brain foggy, if something's not right, go to your GP, and if you don't get listened to, go and get a second opinion. And that is what I have to say for World Menopause Month, is that you know yourself, you know what it feels like when you're thriving, when you're happy, when your relationships are good, when your body feels good. If something doesn't feel right, you're probably on to something. Go and get help. That's my final word before we go and eat mac and cheese. Dr. Johanna, thank you so much for your time, your expertise. I feel like we will do this again in 6 months, and because there's always so many exciting things to talk about in this area.
Yeah, I'm writing a book on collagen, so I'll let you know when it's out, but only because I just don't know, well, we don't know enough about it, and these things are really important because it's that glue, and it goes like this if you're not careful.
Okay. Well, listen, we need your help, we need your expertise, we need your book, and thank you so much for spending this evening talking to us. It is supper time. Thank you to everyone who's watched and all your comments, and we will definitely get to Dr. Johanna back really soon. All right, Bye. Good night, everyone.